In this video, I will show how to configure PPPoE server in a Mikrotik router and set up my PC as a client. PPPoE, or point-to-point protocol over Ethernet, is a protocol used to connect with high security and authentication to an ISP. In this lab, I used a Mikrotik router as the PPPoE server and my PC as the client. In actual environment, PPPoE is usually deployed in a broadband setup using an OLT and a modem as the client. For the network plan, I use the network address 10.10.72.0/24 and assign to VLAN 500. Let us begin and configure PPPoE server in the Mikrotik router. First, create a bridge. Here I tagged VLAN 500 for my PPPoE server to distinguish in case we add another server in the future. Next, create IP pools from the network address. Here, I use the first 9 usable hosts for the 100 MB plan and the next 10 usable hosts for the 200 MB plan. Next, set the IP address of the PPPoE server and tag to the bridge. Then create PPP profiles for the IP pools created. Edit the local address of the default profile, then set the DNS server IP address. Create the first profile for the 100 MB plan, then bind to the corresponding IP pool. The local address is the same for all the profiles, including the default, which is the assigned IP address of the PPPoE server bridge. And the remote address is bind to the corresponding IP pool. Make sure to set the DNS server of the PPP profile. Then, go the Limits tab and set the rate limit of the transmit and receive, and enable the only one option. Create the profile for the 200 MB plan using the previous steps for 100 MB plan. Next step, create PPP secrets for the PPP profiles created. Set the username and password, then choose PPPoE for the service, and select the correct profile. Next, enable the PPPoE server, then create new interface and bind to the bridge. Next, set up the PPPoE client using the dial-up connection in the PC. Create 2 connections for each plan. As you can see, the connection fails. Let us check the configuration on the interface of the router facing the PC. Bind the bridge to the interface of the router facing the PC. Set up the client and test the connection again in the PC. The connection is now successful. Configure NAT for the network address to have internet connection. The first plan is able to authenticate and connect to the internet. We can verify the session on the logs of the router and in the active connections of the PPP. In the status, we can see more details of the session, including the MAC address, up and down time, user ID, the interface, and the IP address of the client. We can also monitor the actual usage and the queues of the client. The first profile is successfully authenticated and can now reach the internet. Next, set up a new connection in the client for the 200 MB plan. The connection of the 200 MB plan is also authenticated and successfully connects to the Internet. I hope that this is informative to you and thank you for watching.